When you sketch a diagram with a pen, you are making a permanent commitment to every mistake. You scratch out a line, overlap another, and suddenly your notes are an illegible mess. Compare that to a clean, erasable graphite pencil drawing, where every line is deliberate and pristine. This chart shows memory retention rates based on study methods. Notice the bar for physical drawing. It sits nearly 30% higher than passive reading. This tutorial aligns cognitive science with specific exam rubrics, ensuring your study sessions produce drawings that are both memorable and technically accurate. To do this, you only need 3 things: a blank, unruled sheet of paper, an HB pencil, and a straight edge ruler. Put your pens away. Ink is strictly prohibited. Adopting this specific, focused process transforms a flat image from a textbook into an indelible, high-scoring memory asset. Step 1 happens before you ever touch the paper. Put your pencil down and strictly observe the reference diagram for exactly 30 seconds. Look closely at the proportions. Note which structures are the largest. Check the symmetry, and trace the directional flow of the connections. You need a mental map of the spatial relationships. Now pick up the pencil. Apply very light pressure to map out a faint structural outline. If you misjudge the size, these light lines are easy to erase and adjust without scarring the paper. Once your proportions are correct, you apply the single stroke rule. Every final outline must be drawn as a continuous, unbroken line. This is a scientific diagram, not a still life painting. Examiners penalize sketchy, overlapping strokes. You must commit to a smooth, continuous line for every edge. Do not add any shading, and absolutely no colored pencils. Artistic flourishes obscure the biological or mechanical structures, and graders will actively deduct points for them. If you need to show tissue density or surface texture, use precise stippling. Just tap the pencil point to create clear, distinct dots. If you make a mistake, erase it completely. Leaving faint, patched-up lines creates false overlapping borders that confuse the examiner. These rigid drawing constraints guarantee maximum marks for neatness, while simultaneously building a physical, spatial understanding of the shape. Now that the drawing is done, we move to labeling. This is the specific area where students lose the most easily preventable marks. Never draw a label line freehand. You must use a straight edge ruler for every single leader line. The line must terminate precisely on the target structure. Do not let it fall short or cross over the edge. End the line with a sharp, clear dot or a small arrowhead. Look at how these lines are arranged. They extend horizontally and sit completely parallel to one another. Under no circumstances should your leader lines ever cross. Group all of your labels neatly on the right side of the drawing. Write every term exclusively in horizontal, block capital letters. Diagonal or messy cursive handwriting creates visual clutter. Finish the layout by adding a bold, underlined title centered at the bottom. A standardized, right-aligned labeling protocol removes ambiguity. The examiner sees exactly what you intended, securing every formatting mark available. Now we move from the physical drawing to the cognitive test. Hide your reference material, flip your perfect drawing upside down, and grab a fresh blank page. Try to recreate both the structural outline and the exact labels entirely from memory. Do not peek at the original. This works because of how the brain encodes information. Combining the physical hand movement, the visual layout, and the meaning of the terms fuses 3 distinct cognitive codes into a resilient memory trace. Sketch out whatever you can remember as fast as possible. This is called blurting. When you get stuck, flip your original drawing back over and use a different color pencil to fill in the exact gaps in your memory. To retain this over the long term, we bring the physical drawing into the digital space. Erase the labels from your perfect first drawing, or simply cover them up, and snap a clean photo with your smartphone. Import that image into a spaced repetition app like Anki or GoodNotes. You can set the software to block out the labels, forcing you to actively recall the terms on an algorithmic schedule that prevents memory fading. The physical act of drawing creates the initial deep memory trace, while digital spaced repetition ensures the information survives all the way to exam day. Look at the final setup. You have a pristine, physically drawn reference guide on paper, sitting right next to an interactive, algorithmic testing tool on your device. Instead of relying on the passive intake of textbook images, you are now physically generating the information from memory. Find the single most complex diagram on your current syllabus, grab an HB pencil, a ruler, and a blank piece of paper, and execute this system right now. When you master the active drawing approach, abstract scientific concepts become a permanent, exam-ready advantage.